This week on Thompson Custom Bikes, we've got something special to show you guys. It's one of the fastest bikes we've ever had come through the shop. Probably one of the highest end motorcycles you could possibly imagine. And here it is, a 2016. All right, Moto-tubers, we're back. This week in the shop, it's pouring down rain, as I'm sure you can hear in the background. We've got a lot of things going on. This week, we've got parts coming and going. I'm waiting on oil for this hog here. And to get this button back up, I need to fill it full of oil and change out the oil filter, and I'm waiting on the filter. I think I've got everything else I need except for the rocker box gaskets, and that's okay. But I had a customer drop off this DRZ 400 over here, and he said it's not running right. So I've only started it once. I fiddled around with the idle adjustment screw and got it to actually idle, which is a good thing. He wasn't able to get it idling, but unfortunately the carburetor's got something wrong with it. Will only start with the choke on, even when the bike's warmed up. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the bike out and get this thing started up and see what we can do. Wow, he is really low on fuel. I don't want to have to go out and get the fuel. It's in the rain. Oh well, we'll run until it runs out. Let's try it without the choke first. I don't expect it to run. It's cold and it's been sitting for about 2 or 3 days since I started it last, so I'm not expecting it to start without the choke, but I'm kind of hopeful maybe it will. Nope. Go ahead and turn that choke on. All right, we got it pop off. Carburetor's not working right. This poor bike's seen better days, that's for sure. Yeah, doesn't want to idle unless it's warmed up. Now it's idling. Yep, definitely carb issues on this one. I'm gonna go ahead and let the customer know and we'll go from there. All right, let's go shoot that engine and see what the temp's running at. operating temperature before it ran out of fuel. 128. At least we brought the idle up, got the bike to run better than it was when it first got here. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it back to the customer. He's wanting to sell the bike, so I think he just wants to clean it up and get rid of it. So I'm not that worried about this job. We'll go ahead and move on to the next. Tubers, well, it's the next morning and I am headed out for kind of a big day, headed up to the big city. Stops I'll be making today are to drop off some parts for Cerakoting. I opted for Cerakoting instead of powder coating because over the years I've just learned that Cerakoting seems to be a better option for certain parts. Not to say that powder coating's bad, but I've found that Cerakoting is great for certain things. So we'll be doing that. I've also got some eBay packages to drop off, to ship out. Parts that were sold through our eBay parts store. So let's go ahead and hit the road. We're here, Cerakote place. Oh, well, that went well. Getting the Cerakote parts over to Mike. He owns a Subaru shop and does Cerakoting and powder coating on the side. So just stopped to get a quick drink, heading on to the next errand. All right, let's go. Well, I just made a stop by an undisclosed location and scored. It's one of the fastest bikes we've ever had come through the shop. Probably one of the highest end motorcycles you could possibly imagine. And here it is, a 2016 Honda Rebel 250. Just kidding. No, but this bike came in the shop as a non-runner. Customer asked me to get it running. He's gonna be selling it. So that's what we're doing this week. Well, after charging the battery all night, the battery voltage is great. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this thing a start and see what we've got going on with it. Fuel is on. Spark plug wires are down. Choke on. Some of these bikes need to be off the kickstand to start, especially these Hondas and Kawasaki's. All right, let's go ahead and give this thing a try here. It's definitely got enough juice from the battery. The starter's working, the electrical's working, but it's not kicking off the spark. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and test the spark. So I pulled the spark plugs out and they were black. They were black as night, and there was no contact space between the electrodes, meaning that this prong right here was like almost touching the end of the spark plug, and that's not good. So I cleaned them really good, I gapped them correctly, and I even tested them on our spark plug tester, and now I know these spark plugs are operating perfectly fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and reinstall these spark plugs, plug the spark plug wires back in, and see if this bike will start up. I've probably said this in other videos, but I'll say it again. Just remember, when you're tightening down your spark plugs into your head, don't over tighten them. They don't need to be super tight. Just a little snug, and that's it. All right, now that we know our spark plugs are good to go, and they're working correctly, and we've got a good charge on the battery, we're gonna go ahead and try to start this up again. Hey, look at that! Starts right up. Well, I took it on a shakedown ride, and the Honda Rebel 250 seems to be running and riding. However, I think something in that carburetor is gummed up. It's idling a little rough, and it died on me once when I was riding it. So I'm gonna go ahead and contact the customer and see what he wants to do. Maybe he wants me to go through and clean out the carburetor, maybe not. We'll see. So after adjusting the idle, I got the bike to run a lot better, but I still think the bike just needs to be ran. It's only got 500 miles on it. The owner says it sat for the last year. That probably means it's got old fuel in the carb. So I'm gonna go ahead and run this bike and run some new fuel through the bike. I think that's gonna help it a lot. I cleaned the spark plugs, gapped them correctly, checked the carburetor and it's operating fine. Put some new high octane fuel in it, some carb cleaner in the carb, and the bike starts and runs absolutely perfectly now. No problems. Don't even need the choke. I'll go ahead and show you now. I also forgot to mention that I adjusted the carburetor also, so it's idling correctly now. All right, that's it for this Honda Rebel. Go ahead and get it back to the customer.